Hi, YouTube family. This is Sid coming to you with another video. I don't look my best. It's after 10 at night, and I'm actually about to get myself in the bed. I have to work tomorrow morning. It's Sunday, June 8th. Is it June 8th? Yes, it is. Okay. Anyway, it's Sunday, June 8th. And in my last video, I said something was going to happen in June. I said I didn't know if it was going to happen June 1st or June 30th, but something was going to happen in the month of June. I didn't know what it was. And actually, I had spent a lot of time asking God to reveal what it was, and He just never gave it to me. But on June 7th, I'm sorry, just trying to make sure the dates are right. So on Saturday, okay, so that was June 7th. So yeah, so June 7th, Saturday, right? Okay, I'm trying to get my dates together. As you get older, you're just trying to remember those dates unless you're looking at a calendar. So anyway, yeah, June 7th. They started protesting in Los Angeles, and riots broke out, and the National Guard was called in, the FBI, they were called in. I believe the military has been called in, and the Los Angeles police. So law enforcement's out, and I believe the people are protesting because ICE is just showing up, grabbing, Latinos and hauling them off. I don't know if they're Venezuelans or if they're Mexicans or if they're El Salvadorans. I don't know who these people are that they're just snatching, but the people are fighting back, not physically. Well, actually, my understanding when I was looking at, the news coverage, I just heard people say, stand back, stand where you're supposed to. But, they were hollering, he's pushing on her, talking about whoever, the law enforcer was, whether it was, Los Angeles police or if it was the FBI. But they said, no, he's pushing on her. He's pushing on. They're not supposed to touch us. We can protest. These people were having a fit. So it's getting pretty bad. It is Sunday, June 8th, and the protesting is still going on. What I'm concerned about is they're saying that there are people running around with masks on their face, and you don't know who they are. And that has happened when we have protested. A few years ago when we were protesting Black Lives Matter, and it was just like all over. And they, the George Floyd was murdered, and there were people running around with masks, throwing rocks and throwing fire bombs, and they were saying it was us. It was us, right? So, that's happening again, and it's happening among the Latino people, where people are masked. They're having masks on, covering their face up, and they're throwing fire bombs, and they're, destroying property. So somebody mentioned, okay, so got a couple things going on here. So somebody mentioned, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold this thing, my hand is getting tired, but anyway. Somebody mentioned that these may not be people in the community who are either protesting or, they're marching. It could be outsiders. So what I'm saying is, let's say, for instance, you have these Latinos out there and they're marching and they're protesting. They have the right to do that, right? But you have some people, some outside forces. How do we know it can't be a part of a political party? I'm not saying any particular party, wink, wink. But how do we know it's not a particular political party who is setting this mess up, sending their people in with masks to cause problems, right? So now, I've heard that that has happened to us. We have our, protests, and we have our marches. And then all of a sudden you have, after a certain hour, it just seems like during the day, everything's fine. But at nighttime, they come out in full forces and they're throwing rocks and they're throwing bombs and they're just destroying property. And we're thinking it's us. And then the media has people thinking it's us. When, let me tell you, it was, I think it's called the African Diaspora Channel. I think that's what it's called. And I saw this episode. It was, I think, last week. And I don't even know if it was current. I want to say it may have been. But there's a black man, and he was talking about how it seems strange that in Chicago, here in Chicago, that only on the weekends, it seems like, during the summertime, only on the weekends, it seems like you're hearing about 13 people have been shot in Chicago on Friday night, on Saturday night. But they're not saying anything about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, love. Okay, anyway. But they're saying that it seems to happen on just the weekends. Now, mind you, if these people who are shooting on the weekends are, let's say they may be young people who are not working. Let's say they could be gangbangers. Well, if they're not working and if they're gangbanging, why are they only waiting for Friday and Saturday to commit whatever atrocity they're going to commit? So how come they're not shooting up on Mondays or Sundays or Wednesdays? Why are you just waiting for the weekend? Because half the time they're not even shooting at anybody in particular. It seems like they're just shooting up sometimes. Or maybe there is a target, and the target is other young people who may not be working, but it just seems like whenever they're shooting somebody who was like a student, or somebody, some young, girl who, had a future, a promising life ahead of her. So this guy was saying that you have the possibility of some of these white police officers who are, I'm going to say, there's a lady I listen to, her name is Deborah, and she's a Hebrew Israelite, and she calls it Ray Ray. So these Ray Ray police, and they could be they have these black masks. And these masks, if I knew how to work this technology, I'm going to learn. But he was saying that they have these black masks, and they're people, they're face masks like black people. And all you have to do is put the mask on your face, put some foundation, brown foundation around the eyes. And if it fits the face like a glove, you would really think it's a black person. And especially if they're driving a car, and then they have the nerves they call them gloves. Look this stuff up. Look it up. a black man's mask and black man gloves. They put the gloves on the hands, and it looks like black men or black man's hands. And so this guy said, and I know it's just theory, you know, but what if it's true? That these people are coming into our community, putting the mask on, putting the gloves on, and they're shooting up our people. And we're thinking it's us shooting each other up. All this black on black crime, I know it does exist. It does. And I'm not saying it's right. I don't think any of this is right. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have to answer to God for what we do, right? But it's bad when we do it, but it's worse when they do it. Okay? It's bad when we do it because we shouldn't be doing it. We should actually be coming together. But when they do it, they fake like they're us just to come into the community and to shoot us, it's like target practice. Let's just shoot this one, shoot that one, and then they drive off. It made a lot of sense when that man said that. Why on the weekends? How come these people aren't shooting on the Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and Sundays? So, I'm sorry. I digress. Let me get back to the protesting. So what I'm saying is these people could be using, and these are just face masks, talking about, what we use when, the virus was out and we covered up our face and our nose, but you can see the eyes. They're using those. Or they could be using ski masks. And they're going damaging property. They're going throwing rocks at the police. Based on our current president, Rump. These people, these law enforcement people are being spit on. It still makes no sense for it to go as far as it is going right now. But I said in my last video, they're coming for us. They're coming for us. They have a plan for us. And the only thing I can just say, be prayed up. Be prayed up. Get your life together. Get your life right. There's another young lady, her name is Angela, and I think her channel is Circles with Angela or something like that. I can't think of what her channel is, but she always says, it's not about religion. It's about a relationship with God, the Almighty, Yahweh. So, I said something was going to happen, and it wasn't me. It was the Spirit that gave that to me. I won't take credit for anything like that. I can't. But the Spirit the Spirit also gave me something's going to happen in November. Now, mind you, I don't know what that is either. But I do know one thing. We need to start looking at our lives and making sure that we are doing what we're supposed to do spiritually. And if you're not spiritual, work on trying to get spiritual. Mainly, growing your faith, building a real relationship with God, with Yeshua, with the Holy Spirit. Just get yourself ready and get yourself prepared. And don't forget, they're coming for us at the end of the day. They're coming for us people with melanin, us people who have a little darker shade to the skin. I think that's all I wanted to say. There is another video that I want to come back with, but it's talking about how people are losing their minds. Literally, they're losing their minds. So this is one last thing I do want to say. One last thing. I better say this while I have a chance, because I don't know when I'm going to make that next video. I'm hoping I can do it within the next couple of days, but it seems like my next couple of days turn out to be at least a few weeks. So anyway, listen to my voice when I say this. About 3, 4, it may have been a little longer than that. It was a little before my mom passed. So she died December 2020. So it may have been around the 2018. The Spirit told me to cover my head. Cover my head. And it was explained to me through my understanding that spirits jump. You know, there's a movie out there with Denzel Washington. I can't think of the name of the movie, but it talks about how spirits were jumping from, these people. And the Spirit told me, and it didn't give me that movie. That movie came out way before the Spirit told me this. But that's the way I understood it. Cover your head. So it's like cover the crown right up here. So you might see me out there with a hat on my head. You might see me with a cap on my head. You're going to see me very seldom. I go out without something on my head. And if I do, I'm asking God, help me, Father, to protect my head. Protect me. Even if I wear a wig, that's a covering. Even if I have a ponytail and I got it wrapped, that's a covering. But the Spirit told me, cover your head. So I'm going to come back with that at a later date, but I just wanted to share that with you, saying cover your head, because there's some crazy stuff going on out there, and those demons are out there. They're leaping and leaping and they're leaping. Like the devil is like a roaring lion, trying to figure out who he can devour. And that's what these demons are doing. So I say thank you for listening to me. Give me a thumbs up. Comment if you have anything you want to say or add. But take care.